My wife and I had just bought our first house. It was cheap. Suspiciously cheap. Like something bad had happened there. But I don't get spooked by that kind of thing. At least, I never used to. The house was beautiful. Perfect for a young couple. But when we cracked open the sealed door to the basement, we realized why it may have come at such a good price. The air was dank like it hadn't been opened for years. And inside were the creepiest things. Dead crows tied into bundles with string. Jars with animal fetuses bobbing up and down in fluid the color of old pee. A whole collection of prosthetic limbs. I mean, who needs 5 fake legs? As we poked around, I came across a pleasant surprise under a stack of old newspapers. A PS2 game called Silent Hill Ruin. I was a huge Silent Hill fan, and their PS2 era was by far the best. But I'd never heard of this one. I couldn't wait to try it. That night, I slid the disc into my PS4. The console's not backwards compatible, so I didn't expect it to actually work, but it did. As I played through to sunrise, I realized this was a lost classic, as good as their best work. I was pit against some of the franchise's most skin-crawling enemies. Pyramid Head, the mannequins, the twin victims, the bubblehead nurses. But there were also new enemies, creatures that reminded me of the things we found in the basement. Viscous crows fused together and squawking in anger and pain. Fetal animals dragging themselves to me across the filthy ground, a spider-like thing made entirely of prosthetic legs. I got so sucked into the game I don't even remember falling asleep. The next day I came home from work and my wife asked me if I remembered what happened. She said she found me sitting in front of the TV, staring into white static on the screen, as if I was in a trance. I only remember playing the game, I said. She told me to get some rest, that I was probably tired from the move. I went straight to bed and slept heavily, but a strange sound woke me. The distinctive sound of the PlayStation booting up, but distorted into a demonic blare. I saw the logo appear on the back of my eyelids with a message, "Ready to play?" Suddenly, I was wide awake, but the house was different. It was full of fog, its tendrils groping at me, the fog of Silent Hill. Was I really awake, or was this all a bad dream? I could hear shuffling, banging in the distance. If this was a game, I knew that I had to follow the noise to move forward and escape this hell, even if the sounds would lead me to something frightening. I pushed through the layers of fog, following the scraping and bumping sounds to the basement door. I knew I had to go inside. I slowly pushed the door open and walked down the steps into the darkness. The silhouette of a female figure stood in front of me. She was shapely. Perhaps this wouldn't be such a bad dream after all, I thought. But then she stepped into the light and I saw her awful face. Its skin was twisted into a lumpy, featureless blob. She, or it, was slick with pus, almost oily. It was one of Silent Hill's bobblehead nurses. I knew I had seconds to act before it used the heavy pipe in its hand to cave my head in. I fumbled for a weapon in the darkness. A 2x4. Perfect. I took it in my hands and swung hard. Crack! A great gash opened up on the nurse's head and it tumbled to the floor. It gurgled, still alive, but I wasn't prepared to stick around long enough to finish it off. I ran back out the basement and locked the door. I taped it up and even hammered some nails into the frame. I didn't want anything coming out of that evil basement ever again. Then I don't remember what happened, but the next thing I knew I was waking up in the morning, finally feeling rested. I can't explain it, but as I ate breakfast I felt my troubles were over. I felt clear, I felt free. But then I heard moans coming from the direction of the basement again, accompanied by a tapping against the door. No, I thought. Block the sounds out. It was a bad dream. Just block it out. I pretended I didn't hear anything and went to work ready for my life to go back to normal. Work went smoothly. No odd sounds, no ominous fog. Everything was okay. I came back home worried the groaning would snake its way into my ear once again, but there was nothing. Perfect silence. Relieved, I thought I'd catch up on some more rest before my wife got home. I went into the bedroom and was just stripping out of my work clothes when I noticed a note on my bedside table. "James, darling," it said. "I'm going down to clear out the basement. Let me know if I'm making too much noise." That's odd, I thought. Mary's not meant to be home for another hour. But then I realized, oh God, what if the note was from yesterday? I ran to the basement door. Sure enough, it was sealed shut with tape and nails. It wasn't a bad dream that I had, it was real. Some of it, at least. It took me 6 solid kicks to get through the door. I ran down the stairs, and there she was, my wife, Mary, lying in a heap at the top of the stairs. Her head had been cracked down the middle by the plank that I had swung at her. The bloody trail behind her told her story. After I had sealed the door, she had pulled her limp body up the stairs. She had moaned for help and tapped on the door, and I'd ignored it all. I thought I was hearing things, but it was all real. I took a step back. I couldn't deal with this. The real world was too difficult for me now, too painful. I deserved to live in hell. I deserved to live in Silent Hill. I went back to the PlayStation and switched it on. I must find a better ending to my story. Perhaps I will find one in Silent Hill Ruined.
I'm looking for someone very important to me.
If you like these scary stories, remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Anyway, you won't be escaping from the fear zone.